Do you like this sweatshirt that I'm wearing? It says Catholic. I got this from a high school that was called Catholic Central. They only called it Catholic, so all of their gear just says Catholic. So when I wear this sweatshirt in places other than like where I got it, it just looks like I'm wearing the sweatshirt that says I'm Catholic. So like, try not to be distracted by it.
One, two, three, four.
Hey friends, hello, how you doing? I want to share with you something that I've been thinking and I've been praying about recently. I've been praying about the concept, the idea of the theology of rest. The theology of rest. So theology, it comes from Greek origins. Theology is broken up into two words basically, theos and ology. Ology means the study of something. Sociology, psychology, anthropology, the study of something. And theos means God. So theology, that word theology literally means the study of God. So the theology of rest means the study of God through rest. Because this is the truth. God can be studied. God can be known. It's not like God is like this cloaked, hidden figure who leaves no traces, who cannot be understood. No, that's not the Christian God. The Christian God has revealed himself through the prophets, through miracles, through his son Jesus Christ, through the scriptures, through the work of the Spirit, through the apostles, through the church, through faith, through reason, through science, through love, through friendship, through truth, beauty, and goodness. God reveals himself in so many different ways, and he can be studied, he can be known. The Catechism of the Catholic Church goes so far to say that everything that is true and good and beautiful belongs to God. And when we study truth and beauty and goodness in all its forms, we can grow to understand God and ourselves. So one of the ways that I've been studying God, one of the ways I've been trying to learn more about God through this time is through rest. Because I've been doing a lot more resting than I normally have. During this time, during coronavirus time, I have been resting so much. I've been sleeping like 12 hours a night, sometimes more. I've been doing this thing where I go to bed, I don't even set an alarm. I just wake up when my body says like I have to go to the bathroom and I'm hungry. I've been doing a ton of reading. Of course, I've been watching a lot of shows. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I've been, picking up quarantine hobby. I've been resting a lot. I haven't been moving as much as normal. And this hasn't been my choice. I did not choose this global pandemic, not something I wanted. I feel like I've been forced into this time of rest. And that's actually a biblical concept, the idea of forced rest. I want to read to you a scripture passage, one of the more famous Psalms, Psalm 23. It's the Psalm of the Good Shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. This is a super comforting psalm, and I find a lot of consolation through it, but the idea behind it is not the most cuddly. Okay, let's talk about ancient shepherding techniques. I know that's what you wanted to talk about when you clicked on this video. Ancient shepherding techniques, what a shepherd would do when one of his sheep would run away, which would happen a lot. Sheep would get distracted, they would be led astray. And a good shepherd would know his sheep, he would know his flock, and he would realize when one was missing. So what he would do is he would go off and he would find that sheep. Wherever the sheep was, if the sheep was caught somewhere, if the sheep was like miles away, the shepherd would go find the sheep. And then what the shepherd would do is he would take the sheep and he would break the legs of the sheep. And then he would put the sheep around his shoulders and then go back to the flock. And then for however long until the sheep's legs mended, the sheep couldn't move, couldn't walk. So the sheep had to be around the shoulders of the shepherd, spending a lot of time with the shepherd, every waking moment, hearing the voice of the shepherd, feeling the heartbeat of the shepherd, going everywhere the shepherd went, so that when the legs of the sheep finally healed, that sheep wouldn't want to run off. That sheep wouldn't want to go anywhere else because he was so used to the presence of the shepherd through that forced rest that he didn't want to leave again. So that line in the psalm, he makes me lie down in green pastures, yeah, that's the shepherd breaking the legs of the sheep and making the sheep lie down with the shepherd. That's what this time has felt like for me. I felt like God has broken my legs. He's broken my plans. He's broken my schedules. He's broken my calendar. He's broken all my expectations for this season of life. And he's saying, Maggie, you're about to rest with me now. And God has been putting me on his shoulders. And in this time of rest, I don't have anything to do. I can't run around. I can't distract myself with anything else. I have no choice during this time of forced rest than to hear the heartbeat of my shepherd. There's been so many times in my life where I've been like, God, I don't hear you. I hear a lot of other things. I hear a lot of other voices, a lot of other noise, a lot of other temptations, but I'm not hearing you, God. This is another biblical concept too. There's an Old Testament prophet who goes on a mountaintop to commune with God. And on the mountaintop, he hears this earthquake and he sees the rocks falling and the earth moving. And he's like, oh my gosh, in this loud occurrence, God must be here. But he realizes that's not the case. And then there's a fire, and in this big torch, this big flame, the prophet's like, that must be God speaking, and it's not. And he hears a storm, and there's rain and lightning and thunder, but yet God isn't speaking in that. And then the prophet hears something else. The prophet hears a still, small voice. And then the prophet realizes that voice is God. There's a lot of noises out there. There's a lot of temptations. There's a lot of voices pulling us in one direction or another. And sometimes when we only surround ourselves with the busyness and the distraction, we don't hear God. But that doesn't mean God isn't speaking. He is speaking. He's just not competing with the world. Sometimes we have to rest to hear his voice most clearly. Sometimes we may be forced into a time of rest where our legs may be broken. And praise be to God, during this time of my broken legs, the Lord has been leading me deeper into knowledge of who he is and who I am. And my prayer for you during this coronavirus time, that you might not fight the virus unless like you're a virologist or a doctor, then like do your thing. That you might not struggle against this situation, but that you may let your legs be broken, that you may let yourself be near the heartbeat and the voice of the shepherd. So when your legs heal, when this time of coronavirus is ended or at least like diminished, that we won't run off again, that we will stay near the shepherd. My prayer for you is that you learn more about God during this time of rest.